How many hours you got? I got about 48 hours till Friday, Shady.
You heard what he said. He said what he said. I love it.
Dave, you like Lamar Jackson playing hardball with the Ravens?
Okay, I'm sorry, man. I don't view it as hardball. Like, in the same press conference, he was talking about playing the game on Sunday. Like, it's not like he's not going to show up if he doesn't have a deal. He's just saying, make me an offer I'll accept by Friday, or else we go through the year on this contract.
Dave, you got to understand that passive-aggressive hardball, big dog. I got to go to Joy for this, because Joy said, I believe, 2 days ago that she's a killer. She'll cut you with a knife. It got real graphic.
She did say that.
It was very scary.
Got a little intense.
I was very surprised, too, Joy, I must say.
Joy, you can smile through your teeth while threatening somebody. I'm finna kill you. You know what I mean? Like, that is what I think Lamar Jackson was doing. He was threatening the Ravens while smiling at the same time.
Yeah, Lamar, he's a happy person. He's got that good energy about him. He doesn't want to make things hostile. We're getting close to the start of the season. It's all about positivity, so I feel that. I don't love him playing hardball from this perspective. I do think it's good to have deadlines for negotiations, and I love that from the beginning of it, he said this is going to stop at the start of the season. You don't want to be going through this while the season's going on. Again, if he had a normal or traditional, I should say, agent handling this, then they could continue to negotiate it throughout the season and keep it away from him so he could focus on football. But that's not how he's handling this. That's his prerogative. This is where I get hung up with the Lamar situation. And I want everyone to get paid, make as much money as possible. I'm not writing any of these checks. It does not matter to me. My bills are paid whether Lamar gets paid or not. I do think he deserves a huge contract. I think they should reach a deal and sign a huge contract. But we keep coming back to this guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson signed. I do not believe this is going to be the standard moving forward. We all thought, as soon as we saw that money, oh, my God, quarterback market. I mean, what's Joe Burrow going to get? He just played in the Super Bowl. What's Justin Herbert going to get? What was Kyler Murray going to get? It's just trees don't grow to the sky, and this is a salary cap league. Again, the Browns are not traditionally known for doing business the right way. I don't think that's going to be the standard. And Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, was very vocal that he didn't like that deal. So if they're hung up on, I want more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson, this is where I would advise Lamar, don't lose money by trying to prove a point or to reach an unrealistic deal. In negotiations, you all know what your real number is. Now, you and the person negotiating for you, traditionally an agent, are the only ones who really know that number. You'll act like, no, I ain't signed for less than this. But you really will sign for this. That has to be the number. Whether that's more money than Russell Wilson got, great. Whether that's more money than Kyler got, as he should, great. But I don't think anybody's going to get more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson because I don't think that's a standard.
Now, for clarification, Lamar Jackson's mom is currently acting as his agent. Joy Taylor alluded to that. I just want to make sure you, the viewer, our family, are tuned in. Shady. Joy said a lot, big dog. She said a lot. But what I'm most thinking of is this. Deshaun wants $230 million, at least. That's what Deshaun got. Lamar wants $230 million guaranteed. That's what Deshaun got. The Baltimore Ravens do not want to guarantee Lamar Jackson that money. If you can infer and read between the lines, that clearly is what's going on in Baltimore. Who should blink first, big dog? Should Lamar Jackson say, you know what, fine, I'll take less than Deshaun? Or should the Ravens be like, yo, you're one of a kind, I'm going to pay you more?
You know which way I'm going with this. I like what he's doing. He's standing on the 10 toes he has. Yep. No, I'm not blinking. Y'all going to blink first. Because my thing is this, when an organization, especially a franchise, when they have to make a move, because eventually it's going to surface. Like, all right, I'm not signing for this. I need a bigger deal. I need something like Deshaun Watson. And if I don't get it, I'll play this year, right? I'll take my own gamble. But then next year you'll franchise me? Cool. What's that, $50 million? The next year after that, $50 million? Cool. Because I've learned this. When Dak Prescott, right, when he got hurt, I said, man, they can't pay this guy now. But when they paid him, I said, oh, my God. If I'm Action Jackson, I'm cool with that. Franchise tag me because I know if I do get hurt, I'll still get that money.
That's
so
why
I'm standing on it.
That's why I've said before, like, I don't think the Ravens have that much leverage, honestly. Like, the quarterback gets paid. Lamar gets hurt and they're terrible, he'll get what he wants. Lamar goes out and balls, he'll get what he wants. So,
either way.
I agree with Joy. Like, I understand the idea. I don't think it's realistic to top Watson's deal.
But we got to talk about this.
It's not a good deal.
I don't get passionate often on television. I'm working on that for my blood pressure, for all the things. But I'm passionate about this one, Joy and Dave. I got to side with my athlete here. If you know you have a unanimous MVP to your name, you know you got all of the leverage and some. It's not my fault that the Cleveland Browns guaranteed Deshaun Watson that money. And it's not my fault, owner Bisciotti, if you ain't got the money, because I got the game. So if you don't have the money, somebody out here does. It's like in a relationship. If you don't treat me right, somebody will.
Right.
7.25 billion people in the world. I'm going to find somebody that loves me. So if you don't want to find the money, Bashadi, I'll go find somebody who can find the money.
No, you're not, because they can franchise tag you for the next couple years. So
$45 million, $54 million.
Right, which you would be getting that anyway if you signed a long-term deal, because that's the market right now. Aaron Rodgers is getting 50. Kyler Murray is close behind, I think 49.5.
Russ got 49.
Yeah, Russ got 49. Yeah, so you'll be getting that anyway. So no, you're not going anywhere. You're not divorcing me. You're gonna stay right here and raise these kids together. So it sounds good, but that's where this negotiation starts to become tense, because of the way that quarterback contracts are set up, which I don't necessarily agree with, but we're not going to get into that today. They can franchise tag him. You're right, Shady. He is going to make a lot of money with $90 million, $100 million from the franchise tags. But you're not guaranteed a long-term deal like that. So you can't just leave.
But they see the difference is with the franchise tag with other positions, right? With the quarterback, you know that number. Because they want him for the long haul, obviously. But the thing is, if we franchise tag this guy too much, oh my God, the number gets bigger and bigger.
I gotta ask.
I'm talking about the number for the bigger contract.
How scared should the Ravens be of how this will play out? The Dallas Cowboys chose to franchise tag Dak Prescott twice and still had to pay him $160 million guaranteed at the end of those two franchise tags. Had the Cowboys just paid Dak Prescott instead of franchise tagging him, they likely would have saved $20 to $50 million.
That's my point.
How scared should the Baltimore Ravens be based on what Lamar Jackson's doing?
They're going to lose in the long run. Like, they are going to lose, and that's my whole point. It's like, you might as well get it done because the quarterback gets paid. Again, gets hurt, still gets paid. Plays well, still gets paid. I don't know. I'm curious, though. Like, I do not know if another team will buckle on this Watson thing. Like it's obvious that the league hates it.
Yeah,
it's
I agree with
obvious.
all of you. He's going to make the money guaranteed if he plays the franchise tag game. And we've seen Kirk Cousins play that game. Kirk Cousins is...
And they don't even want Kirk Cousins.
And he continues to make a ton of money.
They don't be wanting that.
And to Kirk Cousins, to argue on behalf of Kirk Cousins, which I don't do very often, Washington has been terrible since he left.
True.
So he at least provided some stability and all of that. They didn't want him. They paid him a bunch of money, and now he's there, and they've had like 15 starting quarterbacks since he's been gone. So there are examples of how this can really backfire on the Ravens. But the Ravens are not the Washington football team.
I'm curious. You just said something that made me think. Because though Kirk Cousins left, the Minnesota Vikings, correct me if I'm wrong, we got our stat guy sitting here at the desk, have made the playoffs, I think, one time in Kirk Cousins' era. Yep. The Washington Commanders have made the playoffs one time since Kirk Cousins left. So they both made the playoffs once. Minnesota had a miracle. Congratulations. Washington Commanders had Taylor Heineke, who almost usurped Tom Brady in a miraculous game. So I don't think Washington is crying tears at night, which leads me to this question for you, Joy. Who's running the bigger risk, Lamar or the Ravens?
I think it's pretty even at this point. I hate to be that person, the 50-50, but Lamar is taking a risk here. There's a reason why we're all talking about him signing this contract. It's not the same as Dak. It's not the same situation. Lamar was hurt last year. For whatever reasons, I don't know why, because Lamar is a league MVP and an unbelievable player. But there are questions about how long he's going to be able to play this type of football with all of the running, right? We've showed examples of other dual threat quarterbacks, although as Lamar is better. There is the question of that as well. So there's a reason you want a long-term deal. And he is going to make his money regardless, and the number is going to continue going up. That's why this negotiation is so serious. What I wouldn't get hung on up on if I was Lamar is $230 million guaranteed, because no matter what happens, they're not going to pay him $230 million guaranteed, no matter how this plays out.
Let me come to the highest paid running back for a couple years in football. My dog, I'm going to remind you of your money, because one day I'm going to ask you for some. So let me keep coming to you. Should Lamar Jackson at any point in time back down? I would not. I want at least what Deshaun got, because if I'm Lamar, I think I'm better than Deshaun. Should Lamar Jackson at any point in time take less?
No, don't take less. Stay where you're at. I like his stance. I mean, he's a better player. He's younger. I think he means more to his franchise. I mean, Deshaun Watson, they gave him this deal, but they don't know what they're getting, right? He hasn't played football. He's a new franchise where with the Ravens. Have y'all guys been to Baltimore lately? I'm from Harrisburg, right? I would drive up there all the time to get me some crabs, et cetera. They love Lamar Jackson, right? And if you have the fans behind you, right? You have the teammates behind you. The locker room loves him. Everybody say, pay this dude. You got to pay Lamar.
Hey, you go up to Baltimore to get you some crabs, et cetera. That et cetera has me so very curious.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.